and welcome back to Phenomena, the show where we dive into the anthology of the unexplained, wonderful world of phenomena. I'm your host, Mimi Dibbs. This is episode 6 of season 4. Very exciting. And today's episode is going to be about Havana Syndrome. If anyone knows what that is, let me know. But I love that the title of the script for today, which was written by our amazing co-producer Jordyn, is called Havana Syndrome, starring Angelina Jolie. What? What? Huh? Is this a movie? I'm confused. So yeah, let's dive right in, shall we? Also, wait, let's address the elephant in the room, shall we? My ass extensions. I love them. Look at how long they are. They're like the Kraken's tentacles. They're so long. My amazing hairstylist, my hair girl who does my hair. I guess she's a hairstylist, but she's so much more than that. You know what I mean? Caitlin Rainier Hair on Instagram. She's fantastic. I cannot recommend her enough. She's the best. But don't use up all her time because I need her too. So share, okay? Anyway, great. Without further ado, let's get into this week's script. What's your favorite super spy movie? Spy Kids. Is it Spy Kids? Spy Kids. The Good Shepherd, starring Angelina Jolie. Salt, starring Angelina Jolie. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, also starring Angelina Jolie. Wow, I didn't know I had to choose an Angelina Jolie film. So if that's the case, probably Mr. and Mrs. Smith. That's actually a pretty good one. I'm not gonna lie. It was with her and her ex-husband, Brad Pitt. No matter your answer, odds are it stars Angelina Jolie. Bold assumption, but I guess if the only choices are Angelina Jolie and Angelina Jolie, I think I'm going to pick Angelina Jolie. I have to. And features villains wielding all manner of chaos, elite operatives, high-tech gadgets, bioweapons, maybe all of the above. Sometimes art imitates life. And in the case of Havana Syndrome, Havana, na na. My heart is in Havana, na na na. Or is it Savannah? No, I think it's Havana, right? I like that song. It's a good song. In the case of Havana Syndrome, that art looks a lot like super villainy. What? Oh, I have no idea what Havana Syndrome is, and I'm gonna assume it turns you bad? The syndrome that turns you into a supervillain? We're talking about sudden, unexplained neurological attacks on thousands of U.S. officials around the world. Neurological attacks? What? This is crazy. This is going to be crazy. And while Havana Syndrome might be shrouded in mystery, one thing that isn't a mystery, Angelina Jolie should play the lead role once the film is greenlit. Wow. Angelina Jolie, if you see this, just know we're rooting for you to get the lead role, okay? Because clearly you have a lot of experience in starring in films that have to do with this sort of stuff. So please star in Havana Syndrome. Thank you. Amazing. Quick pause for Phenomennouncement. For this week, I would like to shout out JRC _ the SLP. This is Jordyn. I'm going to put her Instagram. That's her Instagram handle. I'm going to put it obviously on the screen as I always do, but her name is Jordyn. She's a Black SLP advocate and small business owner, and she's a speech pathologist, which is amazing. She also has a different lifestyle brand called Meet the Moniques. She's the owner of Rain Therapy, which I assume has to do with speech pathology, which is fantastic. And she's also the founder of the SLP social scene. I love this. She's doing it all, honestly. She is really killing it. She's got a ton of followers. So for a small business owner, you are doing quite well. And I wanted to, just further shout her out because she posts some really awesome stuff. And I love utilizing the Phenomennouncements section to shout out really awesome people doing really awesome things. And, the world needs more speech pathologists. Fun fact, I had a stutter when I was little. It's true. I think I just talked quicker than my brain could keep up. But obviously, I was an Italian because I was born in Italy. I don't know if I've ever talked about this. But so whenever I would speak, I'd be like, io voglio andare a vedere. I would literally just get stuck on words and not be able to get through them. So I didn't need a speech pathologist, to my understanding. I think I just kind of got over it naturally. But that's why speech pathology is very important for people like me. I do wonder if maybe I did go to a speech pathologist or I just maybe don't even remember. But regardless, I feel like it is very common for children and adults to need some help figuring out how to get words right and get words out how they want to sound So speech pathology is huge, especially also if people suffer from any neurological conditions, i.e. Havana Syndrome is a neurological condition, it sounds like. But, like strokes and stuff, like a lot of the times people need to go to speech pathology afterwards to ensure that they can get the rhythm of speech back. So yeah, Jordyn, you're awesome. And definitely go follow her. Again, her Instagram is JRC_the SLP. Ooh, I love it. Awesome. Back to the story. Let's get into the lore. In 2015, ooh, this is very recent. Very recent. That's when I graduated college. In 2015, after the U.S. Embassy reopened in Cuba under President Obama, media outlets began reporting a wave of strange medical symptoms, eventually dubbed Havana Syndrome. I've never heard of this. This is wild. And it's been like on all the lists. I thought it was like something that's been around for a while because it's been on so many phenomena lists. When I was like looking up different topics to look into for our episodes, I kept seeing Havana Syndrome. And so I slotted it in and I thought it was just like, it's been on so many that it's been around forever and it hasn't. That's wild. I feel like I didn't even hear about this at all. Over 36 U.S. diplomats and CIA officers claimed they developed severe headaches and nausea after hearing grinding, piercing, and unbearable noises inside their heads. Oh no, this is like the Tao's hum, but worse. That's terrible. Grinding, piercing, unbearable noises. That's like construction, but nonstop. And if it's like a sound that you hear in your head, how do you even stop it, That sounds awful. Oh my goodness. Those exposed the longest were left with debilitating, sometimes permanent disabilities. Was Catania from the Tao's Hum episode in the CIA? My thoughts exactly. See, like what about the Tao's Hum? Is that a type of Havana Syndrome? Does the Havana Syndrome only specifically appear as like an auditory hallucination of sorts? Let's find out. This mysterious illness hits diplomats, intelligence officers, and even their families, often in their own homes. Ooh. And it wasn't limited to Havana. Oh, Havana. Where's Havana? Did I know this? I thought it was in like Colombia. Is it not? Cases popped up around the globe, including Moscow, China, France, Poland, Switzerland, the UK, Colombia, Australia, Syria, Taiwan, and several other countries. Wow. That is wild. Because like for the Tao's Hum, at least it was like centralized for Taos, New Mexico, or like Taos Pueblo, New Mexico. But this is like, was a neurological thing heard around the globe? What? In 2019, Commerce Department official Robin Garfield and his wife Britta reported being attacked in Shanghai. They and their 2 children suffered memory loss, vision problems, and loss of balance. When they returned home to Philadelphia, it happened again, a loud, painful sound in the middle of the night. They all were affected by this? This is crazy. This is actually like neurological warfare. I mean, I could see how they would like feel like they were being attacked. Also, I got my bangs trimmed and now they're like in my eyes all the time. So I'm sorry if I keep, also look at my amazing hair. It's so mermaidy. Anyway, yeah, painful sound like grinding in the middle of the night. And the fact that both of them and their 2 children suffered from this is bizarre. They fled to a hotel only for it to follow them. Like, I would think it would be nice to at least be like, okay, I'm not the only one hearing it, right? I guess all 4 of the family members heard the sound, but it sounds like if they fled to a hotel and were like, hey, like to the hotel people, if they were like, hey, can you hear anything? And they were like, no, like that would drive me insane. That would make me think I was literally undergoing psychosis. But like my family was undergoing a shared psychosis of sorts. That's bizarre. I had a feeling it had to do with like psychosis because of the syndrome part of it. But I didn't know it was auditory specifically, which is awful because I'm weird about auditory stuff. And I don't think I would do too well with something like this. Garfield said he woke at 2 a.m. to strange vibrations and found his children thrashing in their beds. He described putting his ear next to his daughter's head and hearing a very distinct sound like water rushing. Oh, I hate this so much. I hate the fact that it's like he could hear it inside. This is really creepy. This is eerie. This is spooky. This is like on the threshold of spooky and eerie, but more so eerie because it's like you can hear it if you like the sound is being generated inside their heads. It's not just like a neurological thing where they think they're hearing the sound, but like it is happening, but in their heads, that's actually 10 times scarier, to be honest. And these strange attacks weren't limited to foreign soil. In 2019, Olivia Troy, a staffer on the National Security Council, described feeling physically struck by a piercing sensation near the White House. On CBS's 60 Minutes, she recalled, quote, "It was like this piercing feeling on the side of my head. I remember it was on the right side of my head and I got like vertigo. I was unsteady. I felt nauseated. I was somewhat disoriented and I remember thinking, don't fall down the stairs. You've got to find your ground again and steady yourself." This piercing feeling lingered as she walked by an entrance to the West Wing. This is bizarre. How is it attacking people if it's like going into their heads? I can't wait to get to the theories of this actually, because what is this? What do you mean? You all of a sudden hear things or you feel like you're being attacked by like this, like, I mean, it would be very unsteady, right? Because I feel like anything having to do with like sounds can like really throw off your balance. Right? Like balance has to do with the ears a lot of the times. So I understand how she got vertigo and stuff because that's all having to do with like, it's all the same thing. It's also why like, have you heard those sounds that are called? Definitely a word for it. Ugh, I can't find it. It's, you know, when like, there's certain TikTok audio that like goes from one to the other. It's kind of stereo, but not because it like keeps oscillating between one side of your headphone to the other. I don't know what it's called. If you know, comment it, please, because this is going to bother me. By the end of 2022, up to 1,500 U.S. officials had reported similar symptoms, and it wasn't just Americans. The Wall Street Journal reported an apparent 2022 attack on Ukrainian peace negotiators that caused illness and temporary blindness. This is horrifying. And the fact that it happened in 2022, why didn't I know about this? This is crazy. Western experts suspected either poisoning or electromagnetic radiation and blamed Moscow, whom they said wanted to sabotage talks for ending the war. But how and using what to target people's sense of hearing? That's like extra diabolical. That feels like really, almost feels like Stargate Project in that it's like espionage focused kind of. But this is like the fact that so many people that like, it feels like our brains are the only place where we can get solace, right? It's like you can retreat into your own thoughts in your own brain, and that should be a safe space, but not anymore, because what do you mean you can get attacked in your head and in a way where no one else hears it except for maybe the people like around you? I don't know. This is really strange. And that's literally it for the lore of it. It's just, it happened and people said it happened. So let's get into the theories. The cause of Havana Syndrome has been hotly debated since it was first reported. Because many of the victims work in sensitive government positions, much of the evidence remains classified and out of public reach. Still, as a woman in STEM, oh, I love it. An honorary woman in STEM. I'm not smart enough to be a real woman in STEM. They're very smart. As women in STEM, we can follow the science, don our best Angelina Jolie drag. Jordyn really loves Angelina Jolie is what I'm gathering from this, and I love it. And analyze the intelligence behind the leading theories. Ooh, theory number 1, microwave technology. Ooh, but like used nefariously? Because like microwaves have been around for a long time and they're great when you need to heat something up in a pinch. So, but not when it's used in this sense. And also, I feel like microwaves were made publicly accessible before we like knew the full like evidence of like any nefarious things or like of any side effects that using microwaves can have, right? Because isn't it like a thing where you're supposed to like be careful with it just can be very powerful technology. So microwave technology. In 2022, physicist and microwave expert. I love microwave expert because it's like microwave in the audio sense, but like microwave expert sounds like someone who's like really good at making like microwave meals. And I love it. But not to diminish James Benford, who is a physicist and microwave expert. James Benford discussed the existence of portable microwave transmitters capable of damaging brain tissue. This is literally so nefarious because it's like, again, to damage someone's brain tissue as a result of trying to like stop diplomats from having discussions is wild. And how do you even like stop against that? I hate this. These devices, he explained, can transmit energy through walls, glass, and brick, practically everything. Cool. So is there anything we can do to stop this? I don't like it. Well, good thing I'm never going to be a U.S. diplomat or a diplomat for any other country. So, phew. But also, like, you should be able to be a diplomat without having to worry about having your brain zapped with involuntary audio waves and grinding sounds and sounds in general. That sounds horrifying. Also noted that similar technology had been developed in about a dozen countries, including the US, Russia, and China. Ooh, all like leading kind of countries when it comes to like trying to figure out ways of advancing technology, but also sometimes nefariously so to try to like sabotage other countries, i.e. like the Cold War, basically, between like Russia and China. Oh, sorry, nope. Russia and the US. I've read China, but China was not included in the Cold War as far as I know. But that's the microwave theory. So theory number 2, Unit 29155 and acoustic energy weapons. This is horrible. I thought this was going to be like a fun little like, oh, Taosham, if you go to this city, you hear a noise. Or some people hear it and some people don't. This is like, they might have weapons that can make you hear things. That is so scary. In 2018, investigative journalist Christo Grozev uncovered a secret Russian intelligence unit known as Unit 29155, made up of assassins and saboteurs. Ooh, sabotage experts? Saboteurs who use explosives, poison, and advanced tech on their targets. Grozev claimed to find a document linking this unit to an acoustic energy weapon. This makes me feel like it's like a pew pew pew, like a futuristic zappy type of thing, but like way worse, because how do you protect yourself from this? Can you even? One suspected member, Albert Averianov, the son of the unit's commander. What is this, B613 from Scandal? Ooh, good reference. I haven't finished all of Scandal. I should. I can't believe they had something like this in Scandal. Became a person of interest after Havana Syndrome incident in Tbilisi. Is the only way I can think to pronounce that. There's probably a better pronunciation, but Tbilisi, Georgia. The wife of a U.S. Justice Department official recalled hearing a piercing noise in her left ear before suffering headaches, vomiting, brain fog, and a loss of coordination. Yeah, again, messing with people's hearing can lead to so much more than just like, oh, that's really annoying. I hate that sound. It's like you all of a sudden can lose your balance. You can get severe headaches, which is awful. And yeah, induce just like nausea, vomiting, brain fog. This is terrible. Her injuries required multiple surgeries and metal plates in her skull. What do you mean? To like reconstruct the part of her, like, what are metal plates gonna do? Like, I'm so confused. And why was that the solution? She later identified Averianov as a suspect. That is crazy. He's the son of the unit's commander. Was he also in on it? Is this nepotism? This feels like nepotism. Security footage showed an unfamiliar vehicle parked outside her home. Grozev and 60 Minutes found documents linking Averianov to the attacks, including one listing bonuses for research into non-lethal acoustic weaponry. Non-lethal, that's like subjective, right? Because I feel like non-lethal is like, oh, it's not going to kill you right away. But I mean, to need to have surgery that includes metal plates in your skull, that seems kind of lethal to me. Like, that seems lethally violent in a way that's, again, just very nefarious. Something fishy's going on. I don't know. I don't like this at all. His name also appeared in travel logs and phone records. At the time of the assault, Averianov's phone was deactivated, but activity on his personal email suggested he was in the city. Why? Then why did he deactivate his activity on his phone? Or why was his phone deactivated then? That's suspicious. I don't like it. And like, I feel like this is almost getting into conspiracy, but like, there are things that if the investigative journalistic reporting shows that something like this was in the works or being worked on, then it's like, is it a conspiracy if you can prove it? Probably not. Theory number 3, mass psychogenic illness, or MPI for short. In 2018, the FBI concluded that Havana Syndrome was likely a case of mass psychogenic illness, also known as mass hysteria. But how are they all having the same symptoms? And then I don't know, I'm kind of on the conspiracy train when it comes to the theory, because I don't know, was it ever proven? Is that why like the FBI couldn't outwardly say that it was as a result of like non-lethal acoustic weapons? Because I don't know, mass hysteria seems like a blanket reasoning to this. Because like, how did it only target US diplomats? And how did everyone seemingly have similar symptoms? That's crazy. It's not like they're all like, it's not like the dancing plague where they all decided they had involuntary movements. That I feel like, I don't know. I guess I don't really understand like where the bounds of mass hysteria end. But it does seem like a blanket statement. Like, it's not mass hysteria, but also it's like, can mass hysteria be caused by anything other than just like, we all decided, for some reason had acoustic issues all of a sudden. I don't know. I guess that's why it's a phenomenon. Though the report remains classified, its findings were leaked to the media. A second classified report, declassified in 2021, echoed these conclusions and questioned the role of microwave radiation. Yet, the National Academy of Sciences, or NAS for short, NAS if you're nasty, had already released a 2020 report suggesting microwave radiation could not be ruled out, while rejecting MPI as a cause due to lack of social contact patterns. Yeah, like it's not like everyone that was together experienced it. This like was something that people experienced in multiple countries, and it was specifically people in government. Interestingly, the only MPI specialist on the NAS panel was later removed after suggesting psychogenic factors might play a role, prompting accusations of political influence. Oh, interesting. Right, because it's like, we can't rule out that it was mass hysteria caused by something unknown. Aliens, maybe? I don't know. It's like, sometimes if people want to find someone else guilty, then like, to what extent was their confirmation bias having to do with like trying to find evidence linking like Russia or China or someone to this? Whereas like it's weird that if the only MPI specialist on the NAS panel was later removed after suggesting psychogenic factors might play a role, is like, do you not want to hear it potentially not having to do with anything political, and you're only going to keep people on that are going to suggest that it has to do with something political? I don't know. That's weird. Final verdict. On March 1st, 2025, 5 U.S. intelligence agencies released their findings. They deemed it highly unlikely that microwave radiation played a role and affirmed that psychogenic illness did. What? Then how was it targeted? How can psychogenic illness be targeted? They pointed out that earlier studies relied on unreliable testing methods, misread MRI scans, and exaggerated anomalies. Media leaks may have biased victims into believing they were more affected than they were. Oh. Or like, yeah, if they were asked leading questions like, oh, did you get headaches? Oh, come to think of it, I did get a headache, as opposed to someone like voluntarily giving that out. So then maybe all of the symptoms sounded similar when really they weren't that similar to begin with. Intelligence officials themselves also resisted the idea of mass psychogenic illness. One U.S. senator even called it quackery. Not the quackery. Send them to the quackery. That's a great name. For people that don't like take themselves too seriously. They're like, yeah, I just checked myself into the quackery for a bit. I kind of like that, Not used derogatorily, but used like, I feel like I could, after my brief stint in the quackery. You know what I mean? I don't know. Let me know what you think about quackery. And here's a strange twist. One classified report analyzed recordings of mysterious sounds victims claimed coincided with symptoms. The noises turned out to be the mating calls of the Indies short-tailed cricket. No way. What? So the victims heard a recording of these sounds and was like, wait, this sounds like what I'm hearing. And then it turned out to be the mating calls of Indies short-tailed cricket. That's crazy. They just hear crickets all the time. It's like, man, I really must be not funny at all. If all I hear is crickets. That was a dad joke. I'm a dad. It's fine. This was significant because victims had been told to stay alert for unusual sounds that could signal foreign attacks, creating a perfect setup for panic. Yeah. If a couple U.S. officials hear it and then all of a sudden people are like, be on high alert for things like I could see how that could quickly turn into like, oh no, like a mass hysteria of like, oh, I heard weird sounds and I don't know, like this is weird. I think the weirdest part of this is like, if we are to believe that the dad discussed earlier in the lore section, like placed his ear to his daughter's head and heard the sound, like that's really freaky to me because it suggests that like, there's literally like what, a chip in her head? Like what? Why is the sound coming from inside their head? Imagine if you heard a sound. I mean, it's like a catch-22. Like if you hear a sound and no one else hears it, is like, ugh, I wish someone believed me. But then it's like, if you hear a sound and someone placed their ear to your head and heard it as well, like muffled, then it's like, there's something definitely going on in there that is like physical, that is making itself known in the physical plane. That's crazy. I don't know. Microwaves, of course, can't be recorded on audio, meaning, really? I didn't know that. I guess that has to do with like, I don't know, radio waves maybe, or I don't know, microwaves, I guess, can't be. I love how Jodelle puts, of course. I guess you're a woman in STEM, Jodelle, because I'm not. I didn't know that. Microwaves can't be recorded on audio? Who knew that? I didn't. Meaning the evidence was never microwave radiation to begin with. But the NAS, or the NAS, Lil Nas X? No, but the NAS panel never saw those findings because the report was classified. Until 2023? This is wild. I love how that section was called Final Verdict, and I got no closer to having an answer. I guess that's why it's still a phenomenon. In the end, Havana Syndrome seems to be a uniquely American case of shared psychosis. How is it uniquely American if there were cases of it supposedly heard from all those other countries? With two themes at its core. One, fear of foreign threats, and two, fear of new technology. Sadly, that mix of xenophobia and fear of 5G thinking still echoes through parts of the American psyche. Yeah, it says cases popped up around the world. Was it like, so how is it strictly an American? I don't know. I mean, but I definitely could see how like the panic of like, oh, we're being attacked is like very American, especially after things like the Cold War and stuff. And despite all the drama, no one actually died from Havana Syndrome. Over 6 years of investigation, U.S. officials spent considerable time and resources chasing secret weapons, global conspiracies, and maybe even Angelina Jolie herself. No! Miss Jolie, please! Come this way, Miss Jolie. We must interview you. Can you sing? You know what? She would be way too powerful if she could. That's wild. Next time, maybe they should just call the Phenomena crew. We do know our way around a rabbit hole. True, but we're also gonna just keep it open-ended, which is why I guess it's a phenomenon still. I do like that, like, at least US officials did take it seriously enough to like devote resources into trying to figure out what happened here, but I feel like the answer is no answer. The answer is question mark. I still don't know why it's called Havana Syndrome. Like Havana, this city, Havana, like in Georgia? Oh, thinking Savannah. I don't know. I still don't really understand why it's called Havana Syndrome. That's wild. I don't even know how to, I don't know. I do like the whole idea of like there potentially being like an audio weapon out there, you know? Like that's really scary. And the fact that this one of the women needed to have a metal plate put in her head, like, is that going to stop her? Did these people stop hearing it eventually? I don't know. I feel like I have more questions than answers, but there you go. That's Havana Syndrome for you, I guess. At least I'm not hearing grinding and whirring sounds in my head, like rushing water or like anything like that. This is wild. I hate audio conspiracies or audio phenomena like this because I truly can't stand, if I don't like an audio, I need it turned off like immediately. Don't like it. I don't like hearing things I don't like. So yeah, I don't know if this would work for me at all. I'm glad that I'm not hearing it. Anyway, let us know what you think. Comment if you had heard of Havana Syndrome, if you knew what this was. I feel like I definitely didn't, but 2015 was a very different time. Definitely was not as attuned to the news because things weren't blowing up like every other day like they are now. So I guess I just like wasn't paying as much attention. But yeah, if you had heard this, definitely let me know because news to me. Quick reminder, use our Expedia affiliate link, expedia.com/affiliate/phenomena/season4 to book your next trip. There's no location really to shout out for this because it seemed to hit people in multiple locations. But I guess if you go to a different state in the United States, that counts. But yeah, just as mentioned though, you can obviously use the Expedia link to book any trip on Expedia in general. Feel free to bookmark it and utilize it as you see fit. Pokepic for this week's episode. Ooh, yeah, I was curious about this. The Pokepic for this week's episode is Noivern, the sound wave Pokemon. Yeah, I like this. This is good because it's like the nefarious. It's definitely, I think, dark and normal, if I'm not mistaken. Because the audio part is normal. A lot of the like audio-based Pokemon are normal from what I remember. But this is a good mix of like the dark and nefariousness of like Havana Syndrome mixed with like the sound wave like aspect of it. Pokedex entry, ultrasonic waves emitted by Noivern can pulverize a large boulder. Wow. Yeah, and it's a bat, seemingly. Like a weird, like a gargoyle-y looking bat, but it's a bat adjacent nonetheless. And that's wild. It can pulverize a large boulder. Wouldn't you think that it would be really like super effective against rock type Pokemon? I don't know. Aggressive and cruel, this Pokemon will ruthlessly torment enemies that are helpless in the dark. I mean, that's very Havana Syndrome coded, like ruthlessly just tormenting people that have no reason to suffer this fate. That's crazy. Wow. 2 back-to-back pokepics that are just like dark. I kind of like it though. I don't know. I like dark Pokemon. I love ghost Pokemon, but dark Pokemon are also cool. And I like the colors of Noivern. Like, from what I remember, like purpley. Maybe there's some green in there. I don't know. But very spooky season coded, and being at that it is October, after all, the best month out of the year, this is a great Pokepic. I love it, and I agree with it. Thanks, Jodell. Great. I love that. As mentioned, always in every episode, we have an email, phenomena.cases@gmail.com. Feel free to email us with any personal phenomena stories or any suggestions of phenomena that you'd like us to cover. We do a phenomena episode at the end of each season, so I would love to round up some phenomena stories. I don't think I've received any so far, which is sad. So send me some, definitely. You've heard weird noises that no one else, that you haven't been able to explain, or if you know more about Havana Syndrome or any sort of other auditory, audio hallucin, yeah, words are hard. Audio hallucinations, definitely feel free to email us, phenomena.cases@gmail.com. Whereas our for everything else is Phenomena Podcast. We also have a Patreon. We have a free tier, a $2 tier, and a $5 tier. Some perks of the paid Patreon is that you get first look at the Phenomena Seance episodes, which go live a week early on the Patreon. They always go live the first Friday of the month on Patreon, and the second Friday of the month, they go public to all Patreon tiers as well as YouTube. Some awesome perks there. Also, for the paid tiers, you get audio version of the episode for every episode, and then also a little extra bonus reel that from each episode, which is fun. As far as the free tier, I always post the pokepic and my favorite GIF from the episode. It's fun. Also, we have a Discord that's pinned to the very top of the Patreon. So if nothing else, join our Discord. It's super fun. And I love it. And I hope you do too, because it's great. And honestly, it is a fun place where we can all talk about who the pokepic is. And I wonder if Bananazar, one of our Discord members, is gonna guess the pokepic is for this episode. I like to tell them what the topic is and what it has to do with, and then see if they'll get it. But there are a lot of sound wave Pokemon, so I wonder. I'll still ask him and see if he gets it. New episodes come out every Wednesday at 6 p.m. PST. And next time on Phenomena, we'll be talking about the Chupacabra. Yes, I've wanted to do Chupacabra for a while now. But it felt like there were so many other cryptids that we had to cover off on first. The OG ones, Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, the Yeti, yada, 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 yeti. But Chupacabra is up there, and it is a good one. It's creepy. It's also spooky. I didn't realize I loaded so many spooky ones back to back. This is great because it's spooky season, it's spooky month, and I love it. And Chupacabra is definitely spooky. Chupacabra, from my understanding, means suck goat, and it sucks goats dry of their blood. So I'm wondering where the lore came from, what the theories as to what it is are, what the cryptid apparently looks like. I'm assuming it has sharp teeth to be able to because I think it leaves markings on the goats as well. Ooh, creepy. But definitely tune in to next week's episode. That should be a good one. And remember, you can always explore the rabbit hole without falling all the way down. Stay vigilant, be safe, and I will see you next week. Thanks so much. Bye.